You all right? What are you following me for? I'm gonna see if by really hammering this with manure and leftover hay, if it will change that. What's up, 15? Peace and joy, guys. Welcome back to another video, Drumheller Farms. I am Nathan, and we are a first generation regenerative farm located in South Central Michigan. And today, it's all about hay. We got to move some hay bales in order to get access to feed them this winter. And also, we need to do a hay inventory. We've been feeding hay for about 4 weeks. And I like to do this about every 4 weeks. Do a hay inventory, figure out how many days are left in the year to feed hay, and just make sure we are on track. Take a good look at the cattle, make sure that they are in good condition, and make any adjustments we need to as far as how much hay we're feeding. Do we need to give them a little more? Do we need to give them a little less? We're taking everything into consideration today here on Drumheller Farms. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Stick around for a while. Thanks for watching the video. Alright guys, we are in the New Holland front end loader, and I am very proud to say this is the first time this tractor has been out all winter long. We've been able to do all of our feeding with the Greg Judy bale unroller and the John Deere side-by-side, and it's been great not having to fire up a tractor, not having to go out in this mud. This has been a crazy winter that we've had this year. We've had several inches of rain, a few inches of snow, it melts, a few more inches of snow, it melts. It's actually quite annoying, and we finally got things to freeze over the last 2 days, and then today it's up to 40 degrees again, and tomorrow it's supposed to rain most of the day. So pretty frustrating. I just kind of wish it would freeze and just stay frozen, but Mother Nature has other plans for us this year. But again, I am very proud of the fact that I've not needed the tractor, and actually we've just been moving the round bales by hand to hook them up with the Greg Judy bale unroller. But I've got a couple bales that are stuffed back in a corner, and it's just not something I want to try to move by hand. So today, while I got some time, it's Sunday afternoon, just got out of church, and I'm going to go ahead and get those moved with the tractor. And then we're going to do an inventory on all of our hay, see how many bales of hay we have left, and roughly how many days that we're going to feed hay still. We've been feeding hay for about 30 days or so, and so I just need to make a count of that, and then also kind of get an idea, you know, how much are we going to have left? Can we afford to feed a little more to feed the soil, or do we need to be very cautious on how much we feed? All right, well, got this poly wire around these hay bales, and because we had cattle in this field we were feeding on, and it was never hot, but they did respect it. We're probably not going to come back to this field because we hammered it with manure. So I'm going to remove this wire. That'll get me access to these round bales. You can see there's a couple of them back here that I'm not going to be able to get out of here by hand because there's some old crap in the way, but I've been just rolling them out of there by hand and hooking them up with the Greg Judy bale unroller. But there's a few back there. They're going to require a little bit more than just rolling them out by hand. All right, guys, well, that is all I wanted to do was get those hay bales out to where I could grab them with the bale unroller and move them around a little bit by hand. This is some pretty good hay we got here. You can see how green it is. Look at that. That's some nice green alfalfa hay. So what I've been doing is feeding one grass bale and one alfalfa bale to this herd every day, and seems as though they're doing really well with it. I'm gonna go put the tractor away, grab the buggy, and go out there and feed some cattle. All right, well, I think it's good to get the tractor out every once in a while, keep the battery charged, and probably not good to have the thing sit around too much, but honestly, I'm glad to put it back in the shed. Glad that I don't have to use it every day to feed. Boo Boo. What are you doing, Boo Boo Bear? Huh?
Yeah, you good doggy, huh?
All right, well, here's where we got some of our best hay stored. This is third and fourth cutting alfalfa hay, with the exception of this area through here's got some first cutting in there, and back here is actually some fourth cutting. So this will probably be our last farm that we come to. This is our south farm, the first farm that we purchased, and so this is probably where we're going to end our grazing operation through this winter here. So I'm going to do a quick count on these bales, and I'm going to run down to the north farm, do a count down there, and see where we're at. are you doing up there, Boo Boo? What are you doing up there, Blue? Crazy dog. All right, so we had about 94 up here. Now, I didn't count those actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 12 old. All right, so we had about 94 bales up here and 82 bales in the back and 12 bales that are left over from last year, which those are basically just gonna make some good soil feeding bales, really. Let's go ahead and head down to the north farm and see what we got down there, and then we'll add them all up and we'll see how many days we have left of winter. There's Allison out with Bristol. All right, at another hay yard here, and these are beautiful bales. They've stored really nice, almost no rot on these bales. I think they were cut maybe a little mature. There's a lot of grass seed in there, which is really good for us, reseeding our pastures by spreading these. They're not quite as green as I'd like to see. There is some good green grass in this, but this is pretty much primarily just grass hay. Go ahead and add that to our list. All right, well, let's go subtract 2 more bales from the total. All right, kids, it's dinner time. I like to come back to where I fed the day before just to see how much they're leaving behind. And for being the outside of the bale and being a group of yearlings, I'd say they cleaned it up pretty well. And what we do is we let the mother cows follow the yearlings, okay? So when we get ready to move fields, we're gonna move the yearlings over to the next field, and then we're gonna let the large herd come in behind them. Because they're doing such little impact compared to that side, I've already almost went through that whole field. I'll show you that here in a minute. I've only really impacted this small, probably half acre with this small herd of yearling cattle over here. So that's kind of how we do this. We lead with the calves and follow with the big group of cattle. Get after it, guys. I am pleased to announce that after several weeks, all of the young bulls are officially steers. Seemed to take a little bit longer than what it normally does. Took a few weeks to get those things to drop. Seems like a lot of opening and closing gates. Well guys, our last video was weaning the calves from the mothers, and I would say that has been a success. If you've ever been on a farm when the calves are being weaned, you'll know that the mothers will sit there and bellow for their babies until they're so hoarse that they can't even moo anymore. With fence weaning, that's not the case. You get about 2 days of interaction between this fence, and normally if their calves weren't over here, they'd pace this fence and just bellow. There'd be a trail worn down here. There's no trails. You can see the calves are over there minding their own business. The mothers are over here minding their own business. It's a great thing. You know, the first time we weaned cattle, fence weaned cattle, it was nothing that we were really even interested in doing. I'd heard of it several times and thought, boy, it seems almost worse that they can see their babies. Didn't really have an interest in doing that. After our first year, when we fence weaned, I said, we will probably never do anything but fence wean. I'm gonna go ahead and feed the large herd here, and I'll be done with chores. I want to show you guys what we're doing with this field. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, we move cattle every 12 hours all summer long when we graze. And even into the winter, we'll move the cattle every single day, at least once a day. When we stop moving cattle every day is when we get into feeding hay heavily. When there's no more stockpiled grass left and we're feeding hay every day, we are going to keep them in a field for a minimum of 2 weeks, no more than 3 weeks. And what we'll do is we'll come in here. We started on that far side and we rolled out a bale every single day, or 2 bales a day. And I've only got about 2 clean spots left on this field to feed hay. One up through there and another one over there. I got a clean spot. And I have just been hammering this hillside because we have a horse nettle problem on this side of this field. And I'm gonna see if by feeding this hay, you all right? What are you following me for? I'm gonna see if by really hammering this with manure and leftover hay, if it will change that. What's up, 15? And I think it will. I mean, look at the amount of manure that's over here. It's a little insane. Now, I'm not gonna roll hay out on that because it's not clean, but I do have a spot up there that I have not rolled hay out yet. That's a nice clean area to roll hay out onto. And we'll be out of this field in about 5 days. I've got 5 days left of feeding on this field. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna move the babies over one field, and then the main herd will then follow where they were at. Now there's something you're not seeing on the field, and that's all the manure, urine. So there's a ton of that that's been put down on this soil, and that should help change it too. And I just really wanted to show you what we're doing, and we really look at the winter as an opportunity to improve our soil, just like we do in the summer when we move those cattle every 12 hours. Grazing is 365 days a year. Doesn't always mean you're going to be grazing green grass. Sometimes you're grazing green hay. And to me, feeding hay is just as important as keeping those cattle moving in the summertime and, you know, grazing green grass. Isn't that right, 33? nothing but cattle mowing on some hay. I save this core, a little bit of that one, and feed it to the bulls. That's what I got to do next. But right now I'm just gonna sit here and take it in for a minute. This will be the last day until next weekend that I'll see the cattle in the light. With the work schedule, I feed every night in the dark because I can't make it home from work and get out here in time to really see them in the light. And if I do, it's about like it is right now, just at dusk. This nice blanket of hay rolled out this whole way. You can see all 80 and some head is all getting a bite. There's even a few up there that are still hanging out. Let's go feed these bulls and then get a calculation together on how much hay we have left for this winter. All right, so now it's time to add up all the hay bales. We got 28 plus 79 plus 94 plus 82. $283 bales. Now, time to figure up how many more days we have. We got 16 more days left of this month. And I want to plan for enough to get myself into the second week of May, just in case. So that's like the 16th of May. There's another 16 days. And then we got 30 days in April, 31 days in March, and 28 days in February. So let's figure this up now. Get back to my calculator. We got 16 plus 16 plus 30 plus 31 plus 28. That's 121 days roughly left of grazing on hay. So we have 281 bales left and roughly 121 days left of grazing. So if we figure 281 bales divided by 2.33, we're feeding roughly 2 1/3 bales a day. One bale has been getting us about 3 days with the calves, and we've been feeding the mothers 2 full bales. With the exception of the cores, we've been giving those to the bulls. If we equal that out, that's 120.6 days, which is about as close to 121 days as we're gonna get. So we are literally sitting at the identical amount of hay we need to finish the year. That is cutting it pretty close. We do have a couple old bales that are out there kind of on reserve. I figured 2.33 bales. You know, I think I could get by with just feeding 2 bales a day. But doing the math, you know, you really need to feed those cows 2 full bales, okay? Because we've got some yearlings in that group, we've got steers in that group, and we have the mothers in that group. If we wanted to be really efficient in the way we feed our hay, we would probably have several different herds and feed the ones that we're growing to finish out. We would feed them the most premium hay along with probably the calves, and then feed the mothers our strictly grass hay. You know, there's a fine line between being most efficient and also doing what you can do. You know, being as though we have the city business in town and we're trying to run a farm, you know, we're going to do what's best fits our lifestyle and run the farm in the most profitable way with as little amount of inputs as possible. And for us, running the 2 herds, the weaned cattle and the large herd with a mixture of everybody in there, really is the best for our operation, at least for us. And it looks like we're going to have exactly the amount of hay we need. We have enough, and that's really the only thing that matters. So, you know, it's always a toss-up on how much hay we should buy. And, you know, I would say the Lord provided yet again. So we're very thankful of that. I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. Hit that subscribe button. God bless.